Okay, welcome back once again. We are fortunate that several Saturdays in a row we managed to continue this, and let's do it today as well. The the topic of this session, as you're aware, is called trend check. Let's check the trends, because end of the day, that is what is important for us. So we will be doing that. Maybe the participation is going to be small due to various constraints people are having. Hope they will be resolved very soon, but it's only a positive hope that we can maintain. And then we are helpless and really frustrating right now. So let's get on with it. Some of you all wanted me to show you all once again how those zones are being drawn. That is what I'm going to start with now. First of all, my approach to forming those zones, or drawing those zones, I will show. And before that, all of us are aware that when we are looking at a chart, we need to have our own systems. They should be complied with, or those systems have to follow most definitely the basics. Without the basics, there is no point having any system in place when it comes to our technical analysis. Another important factor that we should understand when we are following charts, this is something that even myself have mostly, I would say, not more than occasionally, frequently, I have made this mistake of believing others. For so many reasons, we believe other people, right? Because maybe out of respect, out of the kind of perceptions that we have regarding them, for various reasons, we believe people, right? In good faith, they might be telling certain things, but end of the day, it's not that, right? When we are looking at charts, I've been on and off, I used to say that if we want to, believe those, if you want to really follow those, whatever the stories our friends are telling, it should be that we check them in the charts based on the price action. That is very important, and that is something that we have to really practice, because it's very easy and we really get carried away when these things are happening. Unfortunately, the stories as against the reality, based on price action and basics, sometimes can vary by a very, very a long or a large degree, right? That spread, that difference between the story that we believe in and the real price behavior is completely different, right? So we need to have our own systems. When I'm looking at a chart, what I normally do is to when I'm I'm now used, since I have practiced this and I'm convinced that these zones are very important. So what I first do is draw the zones. Now, when I'm drawing the zones, now that we are in the ASI, I'm using the ATRAD chart purely because the investing.com, some candles sometimes the data is not loaded properly, so you get some disturbances as a result. So here it's a clear chart, and it's very easy for us to make use of it. The other thing in the A-Trad is that you can't save them, right? So the moment if you want to use it regularly, the data availability is very limited, and they have made it much more, kind of, I would say not user-friendly, maybe in order to preserve data for other purposes. So the data availability and the facilities or the functions that normally other platforms are having aren't given here. So we have to be aware of that if we are going to continue. This is purely just because I'm using the A-Trad this chart doesn't mean that I'm in a position to completely follow what I have drawn, right? So whatever we are drawing, it has to be in the investing.com so that we can save them and then keep following. First thing that I'm doing, because end of the day I have got convinced that for me, I'm using the Fibonacci retracement tool and the Fibonacci extension tool. Sometimes, meaning I start with using one of them once, right? Sometimes I'm using both of them and use several waves, right? I have mentioned that you have, in a wave, you have the start and the end, the beginning and the end, right? So you need to understand, in a wave, you got to spot that. You have to train your eyes doing that, right? That I have told over and over again, and most of you all are already, you have trained yourselves to spot them. So basically, you all know the meaning of the Fibonacci retracement and the extensions, and then you all know how to join those swing lows and the swing highs. Now that we are here at a lower low, you know that there is a lower low here. So this will be my swing low, as we all use, or we all know. And then you have another swing high here, swing high here, right? So you can make use of either this. Now that we have come a long way, it will be fair for us to use this swing high. Then when we are doing this, you have to always remember the basics. Basics of an uptrend or a downtrend. That is very important. Harida, අපි chart එකක් දිහා බලනකොට මම කිව්වා වගේ wave එකක් අපිට පෙනෙන්න අපිව train කරගන්න ඕනේ. හරිද? අනිත් එක තමයි අපි swing high එක swing low එක සම්බන්ධව හරියට තේරුම් අරන් ඉන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වගේම පුළුවන් තරම් අපිට තේරෙන clear පැහැදිලි රූපයක් චිත්‍රයක් තමයි මේ chart එකේ අඳින්න ඕනේ. ගොඩාරියක් ඒකට මේ indicators නැත්තම් වෙන ආකාරයේ මේ දේවල් පාවිච්චි කරලා අපිටම තේරෙන්නේ නැති විදියට මේ chart එකක් අඳගන්න යන්න එපා. right? දැන් ගොඩක් කට්ටිය අඳින charts තමන් මේ කියන්නේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට බොහෝ දුරට ඉතාමත්ම simple මේ clear charts අඳින ගොඩක් අය ඉන්නවා. ඉතින් ඒකම සමහර අය තාම පුරුදුයි. ඒ පුරුද්ද තියෙනවා නම් ඒක අපි නතර කරන්න කියන්නේ නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලන්ට පුරුදුයි ගොඩාරියක් indicators chart එකට දාලා ඒවා මොනිටර් කරන එක. ඒක කිසි ගැටලුවක් නෙවෙයි. හැබැයි තව එක්කෙනෙක්ට ඒක ෂෙයා කරනකොට සමහර වෙලාවට මොකද අනිත් ගොඩාරියක් charts දැන් ෂෙයා වෙන නිසා සමහර වෙලාවට ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් කුතුහලයක් නැත්තම් තේරෙන්නේ නැති ගතියක් තියෙනවා. ඒ හින්දා අපි ඒක තේරුම් ගන්න ඕනේ. So you have the lower low here, you have a swing high here, then you have a swing high here. Then the basics. හරි අපි මූලික සිද්ධාන්ත තේරුම් හැම වෙලේම අමතක කරන්න හොඳ නැති දෙයක්. ඒතකොට මං මූලික සිද්ධාන්ත හැටියට බලන්නේ ඉස්සෙල්ලම මේ price වල trend එක. Right? The based on the prices we know in an uptrend we have the higher lows and the higher highs. So still it is intact. What is intact? The higher lows are intact. හරිද? දැනට අපිට තියෙන මේ මොනවාද uptrend එකක් සම්බන්ධව තියෙන බේසික් මූලික සිද්ධාන්තේ higher low කියන කරුණු විතරක් මෙතනදී අපිට පේනවා තවම මේ uptrend එකක් confirm කරන නැත්නම් uptrend එකක තවම මේ ASI එක තියෙන බවට පිළිගැනීම සඳහා අපිට තියෙනවා high low formation එක. මේ high low මේ lower low එකයි මේ high low එකයි. හරි? ඊට ඉස්සෙල්ලා අපිට තිබ්බ මේ high low එක ඊට පස්සේ මේ high low එක. හැබැයි මේ swing high නැත්නම් මේ higher high එක මෙතන තියෙනවා high එකක් මෙතන higher high එක මේ high එක break මේ higher high එක break out උන්නේ නැහැ. හරි? එතකොට එම නිසා මේ මෙතන කියන්නේ highs පැත්තෙන් we see lower highs, right? And as far as the highs are concerned, we need to see the highs breaking out, right? Now that this high stays as the highest high, this low stays as the lowest low in this uptrend, right? And as a result of that, we need to once again start monitoring another phase in this low and the other highs and higher high formation. Thereafter, this higher high has to be broken so that the wave that started from here, which ended here, will continue, right? So actually speaking, you need to study how the waves are getting created, right? What I see is that for anything, any any specific studies that we are doing, we have to research and understand. When we are researching means මේ කියන්නේ අපි research කරනවා කිව්වහම charts අධ්‍යයනය කරන්න ඕනේ. හරිද? ඒ කියන්නේ අනිත් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ charts විශේෂයෙන්ම ලංකාවේ කොටස් වෙළඳ පොළ ගැන තියෙන charts අපිට ගොඩාරියක් පිටුවහලක් වෙනවා. ඒ charts අධ්‍යයනය කරන්න ඕනේ. Then we have to go and practice ourselves in the foreign markets, right? You have so many ways of doing that. So this practice is needed, right? Little by little, day by day, then we will understand. So metana දැනට තියෙන හැටියට මෙතනින් මේ low එකක් තියෙනවා. මේ low එකෙන් දැන් පටන් ගන්න තියෙනවා ආයම සැරයක් up trend එකක්. මොකද මේ හැම candle එකකම අපි දන්නවා lows increase වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම හැම candle එකම highs උත් increase වෙනවා. So මෙතන මේ පොඩි wave එකේ, right, in the short wave we can see that there is a higher low higher high formation. Now then what happens? This has to go up and break this. If this is not broken, then it can't go up to this level and break. If this is not broken, this cannot be broken. If this is not broken, this cannot be broken. If this is not broken, this cannot be broken. So we have all these areas where the trend will find resistance. මේ හැම area එකකම resistance එකක් එනවා එතකොට. හරිද? එතකොට මේ resistance කියන එකෙන් අදහස් කරන්නේ price එක වැටෙනවා විතරක්. resistance කියන තැනදී දෙකක් වෙනවා. එකක් ආම index එක වැටෙන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් එතන break කරලා ඉහළට යන්න. හරි මේ දෙකම වෙනවා. එකක් විතරක් නෙවෙයි. right? එතකොට මේ අපිට අපේ දැන් තියෙන මේ අපිට අවශ්‍යතාවය තමයි මෙන්න මේ levels මෙතනට වඩා මෙතන මේ levels break වෙන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට ඒවා ඔක්කොම resistance levels වෙනවා. හරි? එතකොට මේ ඔක්කොම break වෙලා sorry මෙතන ඉඳලා මේ break වෙලා මෙතනින් ඉහළට යන එක තමයි අපි දැන් බලන්නේ. අපිට දැන් මේ සම්බන්ධව අපිට එච්චර ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. මොකද දැන් මෙතන මේ 7811 කියන තැනට වඩා වැඩියෙන් අපි ගමන් කරන කියන්නේ 7811 immediate resistance එකක් තියෙන්නේ. හැබැයි අපේ ලොකුම මේ කියන්නේ අවධානය යොමු වෙන්න ඕනේ. We have to focus our attention onto this 7962. Right thereafter here and so on. So as a result of that, we can use this lower low and this higher high as one way, right? And make use of those 2 points. When we are using 2 points, what we do? We use the retracement. When we are using 3 points, then we use the extension, right? මේ දෙක විතරක් නිසා අපි Fibonacci retracement කියන tool එක විතරයි පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. So we go here. Then we join this bottom to this high like this. Then we can be precise by giving the correct low and the high number. Low and the high. Now here the low is 6724. So you go to the coordinates, we know that 6724.4. Then we go to this level, that is 8749.2. 8749.2. So we know that we have given the precise figures. Thereafter, as we all know, when there is a trend to the upside, when there is an uptrend, we start from the low to the high. The reason is we are interested in this uptrend. We are not interested in the downtrend. Downtrend means after a breakout below this, right? At this moment of time, we don't want to give, think of that. Our concentration is onto the other side, right? If by any chance it falls below this, then we have to, of course, we can use the same retracement lines that we have drawn to see where the support levels are, right? But the moment, I've been always telling, the moment the 50% level of this distance is broken on closing basis, right, we turn it the other way around. At this moment of time, over here, when it started turning from here to the upside, right, we could have turned it to the upside, reversed it, but unfortunately there is a trend failure. That mini trend, this short-term trend, was failed because this bottom, this low was broken over here, right? There was a breakout and then it came down. Now, while I'm talking like this, මම මේ කතා කරන වෙලාවේදී ඔයගොල්ලන්ට එක එක චිත්‍ර මැවෙන්න පුළුවන්. patterns පෙනෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක ගැටලුවක් නෙවෙයි. හරිද? මම දකින දේ තමයි මේ Fibonacci lines අපි use කරන වෙලාවේදී අර patterns උත් cover වෙනවා. මෙතන පෙනෙනවා head and shoulder pattern එකක්. ඒ pattern එකත් cover වෙලා තියෙනවා. මෙතන triangle එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ triangle එකත් cover වෙලා තියෙනවා. Because we are analyzing the levels where the prices are going to find resistance and break resistance, thereby turn the resistance to support, right? Other thing is, these levels have resistance levels given to us by the prices themselves. Now you have these lines, right? In the Fibonacci tool, you have these lines. They are called the support and the resistance lines. That is agreed, right? Now when the line is below the price, it is a support. When the line is above the price, it's a resistance. So you have all these levels as resistance levels, all these levels as support levels. At the same time, you have the prices where you have swing lows and swing highs, which will give you the support and resistance levels based on the prices. So you have this level, which was a previous resistance, 1811. And we know the previous resistance level, once there is a breakout, becomes a support, right? So it is fair for us to consider that level as a support level, right? Now, after this low, or rather high, came down to this low. At this low, there is a support. From here to here, then it went up, broke this resistance, turning that into a support. So you have this and this at the present time as a support. So you have to take that, you have to consider that. And other thing is, you can see that these lines are also around that, right? This 61.8% line is a little above this low. This line, which is the 50% line, is little below this high, right? So in my case, what I do is, at a time like that, and if I'm using only this resistance tool once, right, with a single drawing, then I will be using this and this as the support zone. Why? This area is within this area, right? So then what I do is, I use the rectangle, and I can start drawing from here, or even somewhere here. Why? Because we will be monitoring this moving forward, right? So, I mean, anybody can have the levels according to their own liking, right? So here, I will be drawing, and I'm using this cursor, right? And I'll be using this low of 74265 and 7811.7, right? And then this is the level that I'm going to monitor as the support. 7811.7, 7811.7, and 7426.5. Right. Right now we know the support area. Below this area, you have a distance from here to here. if by any chance the prices are going to come down, then this is the area, right? So we can make use of this area. We we need to see that the support is happening if there is a breakout here inside this range, because earlier that range had been broken and the index has gone up rather. So from here again, I'll be taking, at this point I'll be taking the lines only, because I don't see, okay, here you have a low, but that is also inside the line. Then you have an area in between, right? Prices tend, we have seen prices or the index tend to come and take support in between also, right? The reason for that is because you have the 61.8 and 76.4 levels inside this as well. That is why I keep it like this. But this area is also very, very important. The reason why I'm using this level is because of this, as I mentioned, right? So you have the support, you have the support 1, S1. Then you have the other side, the resistance levels, right? In the resistance levels, when the prices came down to this area, before that there was a wave here. So this level is inside this zone, but this level is not inside the zone. So this is close to 38.2% line, right? So I'm not going to use this, but I'll be using this. Then there is an additional reason for me to use this, because you can see this spinning top, the bottom of this spinning top is almost at the same as the 38.2% level. 38.2% level is 7975.7. Here the low is 7997.6. So I'm going to use this as the bottom of the resistance zone. Then you have the 23.6%, that is around 8251 or something. Now here the close of this is also 8265. I think this is a 61. This is 8265, right? Therefore I'll be using this area also as a resistance level, or I can leave this entire thing, meaning this level, and take it up to either this resistance or this resistance, right? It is, there are no hard and fast rules, because when the price, when the index is moving up until the breakout takes place here, these lines will act as resistance levels. So our zones, we can draw the zones based on our own analysis. We can use this candle because it is in line with, or rather is just at the resistance line of 23.6%. So we can use that, and this line is just here. So it will be fair for us to make use of this area as the resistance, one resistance level. If there is a breakout inside this or above this, then it will go to the next level, right? Now, when the prices are moving higher, then my rule for my personal analysis is to turn the retracements to the other side, meaning I reverse it, right? Sorry, as a result of that, when the prices are breaking all this, then I am not concerned about, using uh, the the same tool to just to only plot these areas, right? I want to plot areas above this also. Now at the same time, දැන් මේ වගේ box දාන්නම ඕනේ නෑ මේක බලන්න. ඔයගලන්ට ඕන නම් මේක විතරක් තියාගෙන මේව මොනිටර් කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරිද? ඒ වුණාට මට useful වෙලා තියෙනවා මේ areas වලදී prices react වෙන නිසා. මේ නිසා තමයි මම මේක පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. නැත්තම් ඕගොල්ලන්ට මේක විතරක් පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරි? මම දැන් මෙතන මේක විතරයි පාවිච්චි කරලා තියෙන්නේ. සමහර වෙලාවට මට තේරෙනවා නම් මීට වඩා මේ levels අර cluster system එකට levels පාවිච්චි කරන්න. එහෙනම් මම මෙතන තියෙන මේ 3 wave extension එක මට පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. Fibonacci extension පාවිච්චි කරලා. හරිද? එතනදිත් ඒ lines වල අපි concentrate කරන්නේ ඒ lines වලට. lines විතරක් නෙවෙයි මේ prices ගිහිල්ලා resistance support levels වෙලා තියෙන විදියට. හරි මේ lines තිබ්බ පළියට අපිට ඒව වැදගත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. හරි? lines වලින් අපේ confirmations වෙනවා. වැඩි ලොකුවටම confirm වෙන්නේ මේ levels මේ price එකේ තියෙන මේ levels break වෙනකොට. ඒක තමයි වැදගත්ම දේ. මොකද අපි ගන්න lines නෙවෙයිනේ. නැත්තම් මේ Fibonacci එකේ තියෙනවා 7975 කියලා. ඒ හින්දා අපි ගිහිල්ලා මේක share එකක් නෙහෙම ගිහිල්ලා ගන්නෙ නෑනේ අපි. හරි? අපි ගන්නේ order book එකේ තියෙන මේ prices වලට. හරි? දැන් අපිට මේක use කරන්න පුළුවන් විකුණන්නත් මිලදී ගන්න. ඒක මතක් තියාගන්න. ඒ හින්දා තමයි මේවා අපි use කරන්නේ. හරි? දැන් අපිට ඕනේ නම් අපි ඉස්සරහට බලමු stocks වල අපි කොහොමද ඒක කරන්නේ කියලා. ඒ levels වල අපි ගිහින් අපේ orders enter කරන්න. Right? Then thereafter so I'm going to reverse this. මේක මම reverse කරනවා. මොකද දැන් මේ ඉහළ අගයන් වල zones අපිට බලන්න තියෙන නිසා. ඊට පස්සේ මම මෙතන තියෙන්නේ හරි. මෙතන තව ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. මේකේ අපිට දීලා තියෙන්නේ
මේ zoom එකන්නේ.
හරිද? දැන් මෙතන අපිට limited මේ numbers දීලා තියෙන්නේ Fibonacci වල. right? එතකොට මෙතන අපි ඒව වෙනස් කරගන්න ඕනේ. ගිහිල්ලා බැලුවොත් Fibonacci numbers මේ 1272 1414 and 2 1272 1414 and 2 අපි මෙතන හදාගන්න. මේ අපිට මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙනවා 1272 1414 and 2. ඊට පස්සේ අපිට ඕනේ නැහැ මේ background එක. අපිට මේ lines විතරක් ඇති. හරි. ඊට පස්සේ අපි මෙතන අපි බලනවා මේ resistance levels දිහා. Then now you have a higher low swing high here, and then because of this candle and this long wick, which is a swing high, which is the top, we can use these two, right? At the same time, we will be looking at this area also, because these are very important levels. It came down to a low, then it went up, but didn't sustain, broke down, came down further. but this level is in line with this level, right? Now that we have covered this level over here, so we can make use of these candles. Look at, if you try to focus onto these candles, you can see the close here, the open here, then again the high here, then again the high and the close here, here the open. They are all parallel, going horizontally. As a result of that, I would use this level and probably and this, because this is a significant level, I'll be using this zone as my R1. You can be precise by, going to the coordinates and giving the numbers, right? Different numbers that you can do if you want. Thereafter, you have another gap here, right? And in this gap, I will be looking at these areas also, right? You have this level, and also here you have a low. Then you have a close here in this candle 8903, right? So I have the liberty, I have my freedom to make use of this line up to this and look at any area in between, right? So obviously there is an area in between this low, which is 8921. Here the open is, sorry, here the low is, I'm sorry, the close is 8903. So I can use that level, right? Like this, up to this level, right? Thereafter, you have these two. You can make use of this area. Then you have this level of support, which was broken, right? You have many shooting stars here. There was a rejection as a result of that. And then you have this open, which was 10,284.3. And here the open is 10,222.6. I can make use of that level up to this level, or I can make use of this area, okay, and go to this level, because this level is also important, right? Until this wave resistance and support lines, right, are respected up to the 200%, I can make use of this. But in between, I will be having so many other levels also. Now I mentioned that I can make use of these three waves. This wave from here is number one, or we call it the A. Here it's B, right? And then you have the C, right? Sorry, when I'm using the extensions, I'll be using this and this, A and B, to look at the C, right? So from here to here, I'll be having. Then at the same time, if somebody wants from here to here and then here, that also nobody can stop. Okay, so then I'm going here. I'll be using this area and draw the line not only up to this level, I'll be taking up to here or even here. So I'm using the Fibonacci lines and the price swing highs and swing lows for my analysis. And then I put the numbers here. Then since the prices are inside this will be the support. This is the support one in case it comes down. A breakout to this will be the resistance. Then this is the R1, this is the R2, this is R3, this is R4. Okay. Inside this, right, in addition to this, when I started the present sessions, I said we are looking at the 20-day moving average, because the moment the prices or the index moves, crosses above the 20-day moving average, we consider that as an uptrend until such time the trend is broken and this low is taken out. Then the downtrend that has continued from here will continue further, right? Okay. And before moving to the other stocks, individual stocks, right, I would like to show you all something that is important for us to track, which will be profitable. හරිද? මේ දේ අපි හරියට මාස්ටර් කෙරුවොත් අපිට ඒකෙන් ලාභ ලබන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ තමයි මේ හැමර් කැන්ඩල් එක. හැමර් කැන්ඩල් එක. මේ තියන්නේ හැම එකේ අනිත් පැත්ත. මේකට අපි කියනවා shooting star කියලා. හරි? දැන් මේක හැම එකක්. මේක ඒ කියන්නේ wave එකක පල්ලෙහාට මේ formation එක තියෙන මේ candle එක තිබ්බොත් අපි දන්නවා මේකට හැම කියන්නේ. ගොඩක් කට්ටිය දන්න අය දන්නවා මේක හැම එකක් කියලා. හැබැයි අපි බැලුවොත් මේක මට ලොකු ගැටලුවක් වුණා. මේ මොකද candles වල අපිට තියෙනවා patterns. Individual candles වලට එක එක නම් තියෙනවා. හරිද? ඒ හැම දෙයකදී මම දැක්ක දෙයක් තමයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ කොහොමද දැකලා ඇති. ඒ distance සමහරවට වෙනස්. මොකද interpretation එක කියන්නේ එකක්. හැබැයි අපිට පේන්නේ තව එකක්. දැන් මේක අපිට හැම එකක් කියන්න පුළුවන්. හරිද? දැන් මේක හැම එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. සමහර වෙලාවල් වලදී තියෙනවා හරි පොඩි ඒවා. මෙතන immediate මෙන්න මේක. මෙතන මේකටත් අපිට කියන්න වෙන්නේ හැම එකක් කියලා. එතකොට මේ distances අනුව හැම කියන එක දැන් මම කතා කරන්නේ හැම එක ගැන පමණයි. distance එක අනුව මේ හැම එක නැත්තම් shooting star එක inverted හැම එක hanging man style එක මේ ඔක්කොම වෙනස්කම් තියෙනවා. හරි? හැබැයි අපි තේරුම් ගන්න ඕනේ, ඒ කියන්නේ ඕගොල්ලන්ට උනත් මේක බෑක් ටෙස්ට් කරලා බලන්න පුළුවන්. හැම වෙලේම මේ Fibonacci resistance retracement lines පාවිච්චි කරන ඉඳ මම මේ කියන්නේ හැම වෙලේම මේ වගේ level එකක ඕගොල්ලන් මේකේ තියෙන මේ high point එකයි low point එකයි Fibonacci retracement lines වලින් ඕගොල්ලන් මේ connect කරපුවාම මේ body එක 38.2% right කියන level එකට වඩා අඩු නම් ඒකෙන් අදහස් කරන්නේ බිඳුවත් 38.2% කියන level එකට අතර නම් මේක තියෙන්නේ. හරි? ඒක ගොඩක් powerful candle එකක්. right? ඒක powerful candle එකක්. අපි බලමු මේකේ කොච්චර තියනවද කියලා. මෙතන. අපි පොඩ්ඩක් ඒක අපි enlarge කරගන්න ඕනේ. හරි? පුළුවන් තරම් අපිට enlarge කරගෙන අපි මේක අපි එළියට ගන්නවා. අපි දැන් මේ draw කරලානේ තියෙන්නේ. මේකේ අපි මෙතන ඉඳලා මෙතෙන්ද අපි යා කරමු. මෙතන ඉඳලා මෙතෙන්. මේක අනිත් sorry. මෙතන ඉඳලා බිඳුවේ ඉඳලා මෙතන බිඳුව මෙතන 1. එතකොට අපිට පේනවා 38.2% තියෙන්නේ මෙතන 8498 කියන එක. එතකොට මේකේ උඩ බොඩි එකේ වැලියු එක තියෙන්නේ 8457 ක්ලෝස් කරලා තියෙන්නේ 8417 වගේ ගන්න. හරිද? එතකොට මේක අර මං කිව්වා වගේ powerful candle එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ මේක shooting star එකක් වගේම මේක powerful shooting star එකක්. හරි. එතකොට අපේ swing lows swing highs අපි check කරනකොට ඒ වගේම in between අපි දකිනකොට මේක හරි වැදගත් වෙනවා. හරිද? ඒක use කරන්න ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ මේ මොනවාද ඕගොල්ලන් ඇනලයිස් කරනවා. අපි මේකත් බැලුවොත් අපිට පේනවා මේක 23.6% වලදී තමයි ෆෝම් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ මේ බොඩි එක. හරි? අනිත් දේ අපි තේරුම් ගන්න ඕනේ මේ shooting star එකක් වුණොත් ඒ කියන්නේ ට්‍රෙන්ඩ් එකක upper section එකේ නා high එකේ නම් තියෙන්නේ මේ candle එක. Okay, whether or not it's a or rather whether it's a green candle or a red candle doesn't matter, right? If it is a shooting star, that is a reversal, bearish reversal candle, shooting star. This is a classic example because here it's a bullish close. You have a green body, right? Here it's a red body, bearish close. Obviously, at the top, when there is a bearish close, obviously the shooting star can lead to a trend reversal, right? When there is a bullish body, you might think that, okay, it may not be the case. But, when you see a shooting star, they need to always wait until a breakout above the high is taken place, right? Now, when it came down, turned, but we had to wait to see whether this is broken. That didn't happen. That is why it came down, right? So you master this, you train yourselves, you will understand the validity, at the same time the accuracy of that. මෙතනත් තියෙන්නේ shooting star candle එක මේකත්. හැබැයි මේකට සාපේක්ෂව වෙනස්. හරිද? ඒකදී වුණත් අපිට පුළුවන් බලන්න කොච්චර දුරක් තියනවද කියන එක. ඒකත් අපිට පේනවා 38.2% වලට යටින් තියෙන්නේ මේ බොඩි එක. හරි? ඉතින් මේවා පොඩි දේවල් අපි තේරුම් අරගෙන අපිට පුද්ගලිකව මේවා ස්ටඩි කරන එක. කොටින්ම කිව්වොත් මේ candlesticks වල formations, the patterns, the structure of a candle and several candles, maybe 2 candles, maybe 3 candles, 4 or 5, right? The structures are very important, right? What I have noticed is that you have basic names for candles, when you have 2 candle patterns or 3 candle patterns or even 4 or 5 candle patterns. You have basic names, but there are things further into those formations. We need to understand all those. The more you practice it, right, you will really feel confident, and your confident level will go up further. Your confidence level will go up further. Right. So remember that it is very important that you are looking all those things. So for the day, I would say, just look, keep an eye on that formation. Now, this also, as far as the interpretation is concerned, this is some people call it a hammer, but the problem is the body and the distance of the tail sometimes may be shorter. The tail has to be at least twice as large as the body. So it's going to be a normal candle, right? So for that, I haven't seen any interpretation. The only thing that can happen is that when you have a three candlestick pattern here, which is this is called a morning star pattern, because you have a shorter, ideally a morning star, I think you have to have a spinning top. But even here, if it is not, even with a hammer of this type of a formation, there is a reversal pattern, which in turn has confirmed the reversal, right? So even these little points, the little basics will be very important for us to understand what is going on. Thankfully, we managed to identify this area of the reversal because of that type of analysis. Even here, you all can remember, I started talking about this on the 27th of May. On the 27th of on April, we see this lower low, right? So to sum it up, in the case of the ASI, let's look at the 20-day moving average. That 20-day moving average is also another resistance right now. These things can happen. You go break it out, then throw back, then again it has to break out and continue the uptrend, right? If by any chance, at the moment this is sitting as resistance, I think at 7817, so that is one resistance level. Remember, this resistance is at 7811. So 7811, 7817 area has an immediate resistance, and the moment that is broken, it can be considered as a strong breakout because we are breaking the 20-day moving average. So watch out for that. If by any chance, hopefully, even with all these negative sentiments, if we see the 7817 taken out, it will be a very strong signal for the ASI, right? 7817 breakout, which is the 20-day moving average breakout, will be an important breakout for the ASI. From here, let's look at the others. Main counters people requested were Expo Lanka, LIOC, Brown's Investments, then Brown's Investments, LOLC, LOFC, those ones. So we start with Expo Lanka. See, earlier also I mentioned that when you look at the prices, you will see patterns as well, right? If you want to go by the pattern itself, it's a different story. You can stick to that, right? Or otherwise, now in my case, I use those zones to understand what is going on while respecting those patterns. Just because there's a pattern doesn't mean that, the pattern that we see and the expectation, according to the understanding that we have, is going to happen. Say you have a head and shoulder formation here, right? And there's a breakout from the neckline. You have a neckline. Then it breaks out. So the moment there is a breakout like this, people, we cannot, specifically or very, very strongly, believe that this trend, this stock is gone, right? So much so that some people used to say that it will come down to, this level, that level. Chances are there for it to come down, right? Chances are there. But now that this neckline is broken, we have to respect that uptrend. Then what happens is, let's say it comes down, it has to take support here. If this support is not going to happen, if this 150.75 is not going to be respected, then the chances of it coming down further will be there. So until such time we see a confirmation of this trend line acting as a strong support, right? And at the same time, if we consider this as a head and shoulder formation, then we need here I have figured out as the neckline. Then I need to have the left and the right shoulders. Here you have the left shoulder, here you have the right shoulder, right? So now the neckline has been broken and closed above that. Thereafter, it has to go and break this high, the high of the shoulder, that is at 204.75, right? The moment you break that out, and then there is a retest confirmation that this 204.75 is going to be well supported, then this formation of this head and shoulder is rejected, right? That is as far as this pattern is concerned. So you can keep it like that. And we will be using, just like the ASI, this lower low and this high, higher high, and draw the retracement lines like this. You can be precise. Low is 90. Here it's 243.25, right? 90 and 243 is 243.25. 75, sorry. Then you have, presently it came down to this level and started moving up, right? As a result of that, I consider this level as the support. And there is a reason, to validate my assumption, you have an area previously that got supported, right? So this is that previous low, that is at 145.50, right? And then here it's this 50% level, which is something like 166.75, right? So this is an important area because it is the 50% level, right? At the same time, you can even make use of this high, which is the close, because there's a gap. Or otherwise, you can remain at 166.75 and take this, which is at 145.50 as the support. So you take that level as support. Then these gaps are important, right? And these gaps are also very important. If by any chance there's a reversal, these are very important. So I would take, now you have the 38.2 here. There's a breakout above that, which is very important. So for the time being, I'll be using this level up to this level. That is this level, right? That's a 204.75, which is incidentally the high or the right shoulder point. So I'm going to use that. Okay. And immediately this could be termed as the resistance level, right? Because here you have a resistance, and at the same time you have this as a resistance which is broken, right? And now we are moving up above the 50% mark. Now this area you can, I mean, it is up to us. In my case, I would prefer to keep it this way, because inside this zone, for me, there are two important levels. One level obviously is this 204.75. The other level is this 175. Here also it went and tested 175.25. Then there is a gap, right? So for me, I will take this area as the resistance level. Another reason as to why I am taking this as a resistance level is because of this candle. But the only good thing for this candle is it's a bullish close. But the difference is only 50 cents. The open inside this body, you have an open and a close. Open is at 189.50 and the close is 191, right? So that's like ₹1.50. Whereas the top is 194.75, right? So the distance is like ₹3.75, right? So ₹3.75 means here it's 150, the body is 150, the tail is 375. Double of 150 is ₹3. So this is higher, 75 cents higher than the body. It's a shooting star with a bullish close. The only positive thing is the bullish close. Only positive thing is the bullish close. So this is the price at the moment is behaving inside this zone, which can be considered as a resistance zone, right? Now, before this, if I have drawn these zones, my areas would have been different, because let's say I have started drawing around this area. After this breakout, or rather the reversal, might have been a different thing. But thing is, I'll be using all these levels. Sometimes I would have even used the extensions, right? Then another point I would like to mention here is that since there's a reversal from here to here, right, I can draw another Fibonacci retracement lines by connecting these two. Then it will be a different thing, So basically, it could complicate things, but then you have to train yourselves here up to here, like that. That is, here it's 243.75. No, it's 243.25. No, sorry. So this is 243.25. Here it's 150.75. Right? You might see some lines are overlapping. Like over here, there is an overlap. Then here also you have an overlap. If that is the case, you could have used this level rather than this area, meaning something like, sorry, you can take this zone up to here, because there are two lines overlapping. And you can take this up to this level. And also this obviously here. So that will be the support and resistance. Right? That is also possible. Okay, since we have that, now for this, we have to include 1272, 1414, and 2. And take the shadow background out. Then let's take the background out of this also. Right? Then you can reverse it. Because the prices have gone above the 50%. So you reverse it. Then you have all these levels. Right? Right. So over here you have this area, this level as supports, these levels as resistance, testing that support, which turn into resistance, right? So that level is there. So you can basically make use of this to this. Then you have this area. And also here it's a major, support that was turned into a resistance. We have to be mindful of that, this level. This low is 227. This high is 304.75, right? $304.75. This area is a major resistance level, right? So we can use up from here. I would say that he is like from here. Then you can join the top line because they are almost in between or trying to overlap like that. Then again, here you have this level 300, which is an important level psychologically. So you take that and then you go move to the next level. That is over here. You can take this or you can take this. I will go with the body. Because I can always, change or alter these levels based on the price action that is going to unfold, right? Because, by the time it goes up, we will be using those waves also to analyze, right? So idea is you have to keep on updating, fine tuning, right? And making use of these ranges. Just because you're drawing doesn't mean that, it will make you money. So you need to understand that. So you have this as the support, then you have this level as the resistance. The moment there's a breakout above this, then it becomes the support. Then this becomes a resistance. At the moment, this is R1, this is R2, this is R3, right? Before anything happens, this is the level that the ultimate breakout has to happen. Before that, this is a very important level, 204.75. If by any chance the 204.75 is not broken, then we drew this neckline. That level of support has to be there. If that level is also broken, this level has to be protected or respected. Otherwise, the distance, otherwise only, right? Not before that. Otherwise, this range can be tested. You know, you can't expect, now we can't use this breakout because that is rejected. Remember, there is a breakout of the neckline over here, but the prices and volumes rejected that level and pushed the prices up further. So we can't take this as a breakout. The next breakout is what is important. So from, it can be here or it can be here. It can even extend like this. But by the time the prices are going to kind of test this area, the higher points, then automatically we would have exceeded this level of 204.75, right? So then this neckline scenario also will get invalidated, right? So that is how we look at it. Then LIOC is another way. Sorry. Let's look at our 20-day moving average. Change this to 20 days. You can even make the line a little bit more thicker and keep it like that. So you can see there is a break cross above, the prices crossed above the 20-day moving average, crossed below the 20-day moving average. Yesterday went and tested the 20-day moving average. A break above the 20-day moving average is a reconfirmation of the subtrend, because when up or broke above one time, retested, threw back, rejected it, then now we're moving up again. Once it goes up, you can see that the angle or the curve of the moving average is skewing down, lower. This has to skew higher to the upper side, meaning turn upside, right? You need to we have to watch that, right? By the time the prices break out above this, then the moving averages also will fall in line and will follow the direction of the prices. That will be an important feature, meaning with that curve up, it has to break this level and move further up. Then we can expect by that time, we would have even seen this is broken. So there's a long way to go, a lot of things to happen. Now, how those things are happening, we know, is with volumes and prices going up. Volumes above average. If you look at the volumes, day before yesterday above average. Yesterday below average. But earlier on, there had been below averages, but the prices started going up. So higher the prices, if we don't see strong resistance, then the prices can go up. But if the prices are moving up and then we see resistance levels, then the prices or the buyers will have a very, very big challenge in keeping, in absorbing those volumes. So they have to absorb volumes and keep it up inside this range, break it out and take to the next level. LIOC is also a very interesting counter, rallied, rapidly, not like the ASI or the Expo Lanka. You can see that there had been a strong rally, only meeting resistance at this level. You can see that there is another pattern over here, which is a rising wedge, right? So in a rising wedge, you have that rising wedge here. At the same time, you have a huge distance from here to here. So in a scenario like this, we will have to look at not only using one Fibonacci retracement lines, right? Meaning you have to take this reversal. At the same time, now we are testing this area, right? This is an important area. If you take, I would say from about here, in my opinion, from here to here is also very important because, you know, it got tested, the 7870 was tested, which is an all-time high. Then it came down right up to this level, right down to this level. Then from here, it went up, right? Then got rejected. So here it was a strong support level. There was a reversal, but couldn't go above this level. So now with this absorption, this area has to break. So how long it'll absorb, we don't know, right? Because over the days, the supply would have changed hands. We don't know who is having that, whether the present buyers are the previous buyers who bought at this level. We don't know, right? Let's say the previous buyers who bought at these levels have sold, would have sold right right within this downtrend, right? So inside that, we don't know whether there are buyers who have bought and holding here. The guys who bought here, whether they have sold right down to this level, we don't know. Whether the present holders are completely new holders, we don't know. But there are indications that people who bought after this fall are new buyers. There are indications if you look at the major shareholders, the top 20 shareholders, and so on, you will see that there are new buyers also have come in, right? More than the old buyers, right? So sometimes a fair amount of sellers or the buyers who were here might have exited, and that would have changed hands to the buyers who have bought probably from here up to here, right? And if the new buyers have come, then they would have bought starting from this bottom onwards. So the holding power of those buyers, right? And their expectations, whether they are satisfied with the amount that they have realized, the profits, right? The confidence level of the people who are holding right now regarding LIOC. In between, we will see noise, you know, every day we will be hearing different types of news about it. And for some reason or the other, even though the minister is not telling, even though the CPETCO is not telling, or any government body is telling about a price revision, right? The social media, especially the WhatsApp, had created a lot of stories saying that the prices are going up, right? So now that the prices, I mean, that revision didn't happen yesterday, has not happened today, whether it will happen tomorrow, don't know, even on Monday. So day by day, if that revision is not happening, then that can be something that people will be taking into consideration. Then we have other one of the other things, newest developments is that there are limited supplies of fuel, both diesel and petrol, right? But the queues are increasing. So in order to meet that demand, when that supply is coming, we all don't. Even the minister is saying he doesn't know at the moment, today, right? So if the supply is going to be there, we can see the amount of demand. So I mean, it is not rocket science. We just look at those queues, we know the demand. So if LIOC can supply to that, and if LIOC can supply at a revised price, then those are bullish things. So people who are expecting and believing that those things can happen will not sell. But those who are looking at short-term returns, then skeptical, they think, and they shift their attentions to some other counter. That type of sellers will be here. So that is what is called as accumulation. People who are confident should absorb those weak sellers, right? Absorb the volumes of those weak sellers. That is very important for this counter right now, right? That is very, very important. Whatever the selling pressure that is coming, people who are believing must support. So where will they support? We have to see. That is why we are using both sides. We will be using from here to here Fibonacci lines, from here to here also Fibonacci lines. Then we will have a cluster and we can make use of those lines to come up with our levels. This is higher than this level, so we'll be taking this. This is 72.70. Once again, if I was drawing these lines at a different stage of this wave, I would have taken a different, my zones would have been different. 1920 is the lowest. Then we have from here, this is 78.70, this is 78.50. So this is high to the 1920. I will take, we'll have the same size. Then it is user friendly. 78.70 is the top. 1920 is the bottom. If you want, you can shift, take the prices to the other side. To the right side. If you want, I mean, you can even remove the trend line. Then the picture will be clear. Right. So over here, we can see that there are areas. Now, as far as these levels are concerned, right, presently, these are the areas. At this moment of time, this is a level of resistance, right? That is 64.60 to 72.70 is a level of resistance. This could become a support the moment the breakout takes place and move up, right? And the other thing is 78.70. Yeah. Right. So once again, we have to look at the price action also to find out the support and resistance levels. Here you can see that there is a high of 66.80. Then there is a high here of 66.40, right? From here, there was a reversal taking support inside this level, right? Then it went up, came down, tested this level, right? So when these levels are tested, let's see over here. This level is 55.70. This is 56 rupees. Remember, from here, it came down to this level, then rapidly went up again for 2 days, right? from here to here, the retracement was, let's exclude that and take from here to here. For 22 days, there was a retracement. Then in a matter of 2 days, the entire distance was cleared and went up, right? Thereafter, came down. So here, this level of 56 rupees is important, right? So 56 rupees, here it's almost 56 rupees. Here it's 55.70. It came down below 56 rupees also. So this is one of those major supports, right, for the counter. Then when it is going up, now this is all history compared to this level, right? Once again, this area, some people would have absorbed, would have absorbed all the whatever the selling pressure that came their way, and some of it, including the people who bought over here, might have sold here, right? So this area again, is considered as important resistance level, right? And so still the resistance is around that level. Therefore, you can see that it's interesting to see, you can see this, the close, the open and the close are almost similar. 69 is the close here, open is 69, again close is 69 rupees. So this 69 rupee was another major level, right? So let's see 69, what happened. That is here. Okay. 69, and then it went and tested the 60, 72, 50, 72, 70 level twice. So you have a double top here, right? Now, as far as the, what do you call, the 20-day moving average is concerned, it is acting as support, right? I didn't show you the MACD on the other Expo Lanka. It will be useful for that. I mean, to check the MACD also. Now, in this scenario, right, if you look at the MACD, that will be important. So when there is this accumulation happening, MACD has come down, but again skewing up, right? This turning up is an important thing. For this to turn up, then with volumes, 72.70 has to be broken, and prices above 72.70 has to be tested, right? Or otherwise, when the prices are going sideways somewhere, with volumes, with a higher low formation, making another ascending triangle, MACD will break the signal line, right? So those are the two scenarios. One is immediate increase, shooting up above 72.70 with volumes, taking the 78.70 away and moving up further. We'll take this signal MACD line above the signal line. The other way around is consolidation here, like what we see here, where MACD went flat, then it came down, now again going up. So on top of above 65 rupees, right, if we see accumulation, that's a good thing. That doesn't mean that the trend is over. It's all to do with accumulation. Once again, I must repeat, people who are accumulating are the ones who are believing in this stock. People who are accumulating will be the ones who believe that the visible demand, right, is a massive opportunity for LIOC when the supply side is sorted out, either with a revised price or without a revised price. because the numbers or the supply volumes will be high. At one point of time, right, the entire demand will be fulfilled by the CPETCO and the LIOC. When, you and I, everybody would be happy if that happens during next week itself. No queues, just like what we did, even up to last year, no? Even in 2021, we didn't have queues like this, right? Little by little, things became really bad. So we can go back to no queue scenario. Then, there will be a huge profit increase for LIOC. So people who believe in those things are the ones who should be taking those volumes from the sellers, from those weak hands. So that can happen, right? So while that is happening, only this MACD is going to go up, right? If the MACD is not going to go up, then a consolidation until the MACD goes up. When the MACD is going up, that means there is a breakout. Normally, a breakout takes place with large volumes. Either way, but since we are concentrating on volumes, buy side, look at this level, right? From here, there was a large amount, then it went up, right? If you take from here to here, volumes were higher. From here to here, from this level to this, volumes are higher, right? Then there were instances where the volumes dried up, yeah, but the prices went up. This breakout, right, the volumes relatively were lower. That is a suggestion that the selling at these areas, they were not severe. Thereafter, it went up and took, a resistance, took resistance here because of the selling pressure. Thereafter, after absorbing this breakout, is only here, this breakout. Thereafter, this large volume could not sustain on the following day, right? So there was a trend failure. So these developments are very important for us to understand what will happen, So it's everything depends on whether the same scenario that took place here, where the prices went up. Here the prices went up without much selling pressure. You look by looking at the volumes, without much selling pressure, right? So without much selling pressure for the prices to go up, then this area's absorption has to be strong, right? Who knows whether the entire absorption has been achieved? We don't. I don't know. So because of that, we have to respect this level, this formation. This formation, right? In the meantime, once again, I must repeat, people who are really, really confident of LIOC, who have strong convictions, right? If he's convinced and he has a strong conviction that the profitability, the profit growth for LIOC is going to be really good, that strong conviction itself is enough for them to keep holding on to the stock. They will be very, very confident about the future of the stock, right? So that is the play for this. There again, now if you are talking of drawing the supports and the resistance levels, obviously, as I mentioned, this area at the moment is the resistance level, right? So because there is a double top here, so I would take this level as the resistance. The next level of resistance will be from here to here. support will be from here to this level, right? Taking into consideration this as well. Thereafter, you have this level, could have this as well, but I stick with this area. I'm using this top power as well. Thereafter, I'll be using these areas. For the time being, we don't need to really worry about this until a trend failure takes place, right? Or up to this level. Right, going back to Expo Lanka, as I mentioned, Expo Lanka's formation is different, right? From here, you can see there was a cross below the signal line, the MACD, and here yesterday went up, cross above. But that does not necessarily mean the prices are going to shoot up, right? But it's a bullish indication, right? There are two things that has happened on the same day. The MACD has crossed above the signal line and the price tested 20-day moving average, right? Then there are, you see, as you all know, you can use many other indicators. We are using the PSAR, and also we are using the 5-day moving average in order to use that as a entry consideration, stuff like that, right? So that is important. Then we'll move on to Brown's investments. Right. In the case of the Brown's investments also, there is a crossover above the 20-day moving average, came down, acted as a resistance line. The 20-day moving average acted as a resistance line, broke down, broke below this, came down, there was a reversal. Now, hopefully on its way to test the 20-day moving average. If we test and break above that, it will be very, very bullish, or one of the strongest bullish indication for the counter, right? For any counter where the 20-day moving average, which is a short-term important moving average, if there is a breakout, reconfirming the uptrend after that breakout is going to be very important, very, I would say, a major indication of an uptrend for the counter, right? Historically, 2 weeks ago, we were looking at, not really 2 weeks when we started this, looking at the 20-day moving average, we did that. We can go back, on our own and look at the previous times that has happened, right? When this type of scenario has taken place, right? So here there is a resistance at resistance at 8 rupees and 94 cents. That is almost 9 rupees. So 9 rupees is a resistance. Then the MACD is about to cross. It has not crossed above the signal line, but about to cross, right? So here we have this lower low and this higher high. So we can use that. This is 1080. Here, I think it's 4 rupees. 4 rupees. right? At this point of time, this is a support. So I'm taking this level as the support. So basically, we are above the 50-day move, sorry, 50% of the Fibonacci. %50 is right at 740, came down and tested that and reversed. As such, we can reverse it. Then inside the price action, you have this gap. Then you have this resistance line, right? So basically, you can make use of this low. This is in between the gap. And you have this shooting star or the doji. I'm sorry, this is the either the shooting star or the dragonfly. Let's see whether it's a dragonfly. Yeah, seems so, because this let's see, 850 is the open, 850 is the close. So it's a you know, a sideway equal line, and the upper wick is longer, therefore it's a dragonfly. So a short-term bearish doji candle, but that type of a doji candle you can see here also. Thereafter, there was a bullish close and breaking out above that level. As such, we have to watch that. You know, it could be, this could be one indication of a bearish reversal, and this is the next indication of the bearish reversal, short-term reversal. If that happens, it has to come inside this and take support, or stay above this and support itself. That is like 820 will be the level, right? So as I mentioned, this level we can take as the resistance level. That is right on top of this candle. That is at 850. Then we can go even up to here, or even this level, the top of this candle, right? That would be the resistance level. Inside that resistance level, if we consider this as the left shoulder, if we consider this as the right shoulder, right, this a breakout above that, above the top level of this zone, will reject that head and shoulder formation as well. So we take this as the resistance, this is as the support. Ideally, the price, if there is a reversal to take support, ideally it should stay within these two zones. Let's hope that it will happen. Thereafter, we have this candle, the top, which is at 10 rupees, right? Psychologically important level. Then you have the distance between, distance inside this candle, right? The top, the higher high candle, which is between 1020 and 1080, right? So inside that, you have this level, once again 20. Here is also 20. So we can take that as our next resistance zone, 1020. Then you have the 1080. Here it's 1130. I will take it up to that level. Because if the prices are going to go up further on, this level has to be broken, right? Because over here, there was a reversal, a rally, failed, came down, broke this level, reversed, but stayed below this level, came down. Here you can see that there is a high-low formation, but the highs could not break this and move into a higher high. So this high is important, right? That's why I'm keeping it down. The next level, of course, will be this high, right? And then up to this level. So you have a support, resistance, R1, R2. That is up to 1280. Let's say 13, right? So you can put your numbers here. We were at Browns. There's one question here. Let's see, JKH. Fine. Sandulu wants JKH. Right. As far as JKH is concerned, you can see what has happened. You can see where the 20-day, now there again, positive side is that the prices after hitting this low went up and closed above the 20-day moving average, got rejected, came down. Now, once again, testing the 20-day moving average. But the distance is from here to here. Okay. Now, there is one thing that I have noticed is that when you see a lot of people, we are not really concerned, we are not interested when a consolidation is taking place inside a narrow range. But this, let's see, because you can see that the prices have just gone sideways most of the time. Right now, if you take this area, it's something around that level, right? So like how much from here, let's say, to up to this level, it's like 9%. But overall, it stayed and made a 20.5% return. Right? If you go back and see the other counters, like Expo Lanka has given something like 170% return. Right? So people have drawn their attention, or more interest has gone there. Here we don't see that, but there is a solid base that is forming here. Way forward it will be good, but for short term it may not be the ideal, because people may not get really convinced to make say from here to this top, right? How much it will be, say from here to here, that's about 12%, right? So people may not be really convinced to go for a ROI of 12%, but there is a strong consolidation that's taking place here. At the same time, last year I can remember they did a private transfer, a private placement, and the next level I am not sure when the conversion is happening. At that point, it has to be over 200 rupees. Earlier on, the initial conversion, they had to do at 155 or 165. At that point, it went up to those levels, right? So those are things that we have to track and, keep that in mind. So over here, this is how it will play at the present moment. Support is obviously around this level. Right? And the next support is here. Came down to test the top, not because of this box, it's because of this. These are 120. It came down to 120, right? So the market prefers to pay 120, not because of this box. What we are looking at is, since the market prefers to pay prices, they paid the 100 to 120 rupees. Then you have this 116.25. You know, this 116.25 is another level. That's why we are tracking that. But that, now that the prices have gone sideways inside this level, which is this area, 38.2%. So, you know, we can make use of the 50%. And we can take it up to this gap. Then we can leave this as it is, because there is a high here touching just on top of the 78.6%. And then we can take it up to this, which will be the R1. Right, thereafter it can go up to this area. There again, you have a small gap here and equal prices of this open and this close. So we can make use of that range up to this level. As far as the MACD is concerned, it's just touching the signal line and moving sideways alongside the sideways movement in the prices. Can you please explain how we can profit using this price action study? Yeah, just mama hitwa mama isella kiwwa me price ranges අපිට guideline එකක් හැටියට තියාගන්න එක. අපි දැන් ගන්නවා නම් JKH එක මෙතන support එකක් යනවා. You can see that there is a sideways movement here, right? At which point there had, now when a thing like this happens, this is called a false breakout, right? Meaning it just stayed below this cage, or not the cage really, below this level, these price levels, only a few days, then it went up, right? So presently it became a false break, right? So you have to make use of these levels. And the reason why we have a zone like this, area like this, is because let's say you want to buy JKH, then your first buy order can be placed at maybe 121.75 or maybe 122 rupees. Make use of these areas for you to collect first. Say you buy, then you see these prices are going up, and it will go up to this, inside this area, right? Then this area, say you bought at this 121.75, okay, 121.75. Then let's say you want to sell at 128.25, right? You have a 5.34% return overall. You have to leave 2.24% out. Then you have like 3% return. That is the bottom of this level. Then you have the top of this level. That's like 131.50. So you go here, say 131.50. So that's 8%. So, you know, you have more than 5%. Are you satisfied with that 5%? Then your sell order you are putting at 131.50. if you want to sell at this 134, let's say 134.75, right? That's how it is. Other thing is that when there's a breakout above this 20-day moving average, and you see the MACD going up, then you have many other indicators. You can make use of many other indicators. Let's say you don't need more than that. Let's say you want to see the price going and closing above the 20-day moving average, right? And then MACD is crossing. Then let's say you want to see the price breaking above 125.30, that is 125.50. That is something like here, 127, say 125.50. Say you are happy to place an order at 125.50. Then you make, that is how you make use of this area, right? So these are price ranges for you to buy and sell. And why the price ranges are there is because you can make use of those ranges by using, tools like this, which is known as the price range, and understand, okay, from here to here this much. Are you satisfied? Do you think it can happen, right? Obviously, when there is a range up to this level, right, at least inside this channel, or rather sideways movement, you have an opportunity to make that money. The only issue is the consolidation is taking time, right? The reason why the consolidation is taking time is because of the lower volumes, except for some rare occasions, like where the prices were moving above and significantly higher. Significantly higher means inside this range, starting from here to this place, you can see this is a significant level. Then here you have a significant level, right? So since the latest you have a significant level, we can watch this and see, okay, if there is going to break out, then short term you might be able to make use of it. There are, you have to concentrate, and you have to tailor. Once again, I must tell you, these are drawings that I have done, making use of Fibonacci's, making use of the support and resistance levels given or shown to me by the candles, right? The candles are genuine ones. Remember that all these candles or the prices inside these candles were paid by genuine buyers, sold by genuine sellers, and they were paid by through their banks to the brokers' banks, and these are legitimate transactions, right? That is why these support and resistance levels are very important. For some reason or the other, buyers managed to take it up to a certain level, but the sellers didn't want to keep it there. They were interested in selling, came down. Here there is selling, but there is more buying. That is why it's going sideways at a lower level compared to this level. So the psychology that is inside, you have to remember, තේරුම් ගන්න ඕනේ හැම වෙලේම මේක සැබෑ කොටස් වෙළඳ පොලේදී සිද්ධ වෙන දේවල් හා සම්බන්ධ කරගෙන. ඒකින් එතකොට තමයි මේකේ මේ ප්‍රයෝජනය අපිට ලැබෙන්නේ. next එක සිංහලනුත් පැහැදිලි කරන්න. හරි. දැන් මම කිව්වා වගේ මම හිතන්නේ පැහැදිලි ඕගොල්ලන්ට මේ prices මේ price ranges දාලා තියෙන්නේ line වලට විතරක් නෙවෙයි. මොකද support එකක් වෙනකොට මේ ඕගොල්ලන්ට පේනවා support එක හැම වෙලේම එක තැනකදී reverse වෙන්නේ. හරිද? මේ මෙතන ආවා ආයෙ උඩට ගියා ආයෙ මෙතෙන් ආවා. ආයෙ මෙතෙන්ද නෙවෙයිනේ ආවේ. ඒකට මේ area එකක්. දැන් බලන්න මෙතෙන් ඇවිල්ලා නැත්තම් මෙතෙන් ඇවිල්ලා ආයෙ උඩට ගියා. මේ මෙතනත් 120 මෙතනත් 120 right මෙතන ආවේ නැහැනේ ඒකයි අපි රේන්ජ් එකක් දෙන්න බලන්නේ මේ රේන්ජ් එක ඇතුලේ තියෙන ප්‍රයිස් වලට අපිට buy orders දාන්න පුළුවන් මේ රේන්ජ් එක ඇතුලේ තියෙන prices වලට අපිට buy orders දාන්න පුළුවන් sell orders දානකොට මේවා අපි දැන් මේ මෙතන මේ හරියදී ගත්තා නම් මේ 120ට අපි ගත්තා නම් එහෙනම් අපි පාවිච්චි කරනවා මේ රේන්ජ් එක නැත්තම් මේ Fibonacci line එක විතරක් මේ ඇඳලා අපිට මේ levels වල අපිට ඒවා use කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ levels වගේම ඊට ඉස්සෙල්ලා reverse වෙලා තියෙන තැන් නැත්තම් break out වෙලා තියෙන තැන් ඒව පාවිච්චි කරලා මේ අපිට sell orders දාන්න පුළුවන් හරි ඒ හින්දා තමයි අපි මේ වගේ ranges මේ ඇඳලා ඒවයේ තියෙන මේ price ranges අපි පාවිච්චි කරනවා අපේ ලාභය ලබා ගැනීම උදෙසා හරි අර මම කිව්වා වගේ මේ ඔක්කොම මේ candles වල තියෙන price range එක මේ open high low close කියන්නේ 100% නීත්‍යානුකූලව contract වෙච්ච price හරිද ඒවට සල්ලි දුන්නා from date එකේදී settlement කෙරුවා සෙලර්ට සල්ලි හම්බුණා මේ ඔක්කොම නීත්‍යානුකූල දේවල් එතකොට ඒ හින්දා තමයි අපි මේවා උපයෝගී කරගෙන අපිට මේ පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ මේ අපේ ලාභය වැඩි කර ගැනීම සඳහා අනිත් එක අපේ අවධානය අඩු කරගන්න ලාභය වැඩි කරගන්න හරි so like you know finally I will go with LOLC and then if you all have any more counters for us to look at then we can do it right so you have the same scenario there's a breakout above the 20-day moving average higher low higher high formation up to this then there's a breakdown and taking support here so we are using this level to this level and trying to look at the support levels at this point of time this area acts as the support level because this line the 50% this hammer low is at 440 right and then you have 393 we can keep it at 393 or we can there are two candles testing a low of 399 and a low of 401 right so we can say 399 or maybe 390 right so I prefer to go with this level as the support but at the same time you can see that there's a dragonfly here a bearish candle right a doji candle but at the same here also you have a dragonfly and then you have narrow ranges here compared to these narrow range podi seemita me price range එකක තමයි මේ candles අපිට පෙනෙන්නේ හරි අපි ඒක ටිකක් enlarge කරලා බලුවොත් අපි ගත්තොත් return එක දිහා මේ පොඩි candle එකේ ඒක ඇතුළෙම තියෙනවා රුපියල් 36ක් නැත්නම් 8.9 ඒ කියන්නේ 9%ක වගේ එක දවසක වෙනසක්. ඒ පොඩි කැන්ඩල් එකේ උනට 9%ක වෙනසක් තියෙනවා. පරතරයක් තියෙනවා. right? එතකොට අපිට පුළුවන් මේක පාවිච්චි කරන්න අපි කියමුකෝ LOLC අපි එකතු කරගන්න වෙලාවෙදිම අපිට ඕන නම් ඒක ට්‍රේඩ් කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරි? එතකොට අපිට පුළුවන් මේක low එක තියෙන්නේ 405 rupees මෙතන low එක තියෙන්නේ 416 rupees මෙතන low එක තියෙන්නේ 415 rupees හරිද එතකොට මේ දෙකේ මීට වඩා අඩු ගණනක් තියෙන්නේ මුළු distance එකම දිහා බැලුවොත් මෙතන ඉඳලා මෙතෙන්ද ඒක 4.9යි හරිද මේක ඊට වඩාත් පොඩි 104යි. හරිද? එතකොට 103ක් අපි දුන්නොත් අපිට 101ක ලාභයක් තියෙනවා දවසේ. ඒත් මේවා නැරෝ ඒවා. මේවා ඊට වඩා ලොකු කියන්නේ ලොකු percentage distance එකක් තියෙනවා. මෙතනම තියෙනවා 10%ක්. හරි. ඒත් මෙතන බැලුවොත් මේ distance එකම 59ක් දීලා දෙනවා එක දවසේ. එතකොට අපි මේක අපිට උපයෝගී කරගෙන මේ distance එක උපයෝගී කරගෙන we can place our orders, right? Then you have the resistance here. In between, we will leave as a zone where I can come and test, right? Like this. If the prices are coming into this area, එතකොට මේ 20-day moving average also the price will break out and extend higher, right? Thereafter, we have this range up to this level. Since there are many narrow ranges but significant amounts, I'm going to keep it like this, right? And then we can make use of this candle high and this level. එතකොට අපිට මේ ranges අපි මේ විදිහට mark කරගන්න අපිට මොනවා හරි හේතු තියෙනවා, valid reasons තියෙන්න ඕනේ. valid reasons තිබ්බත් අපිට පුළුවන් වෙනවා ඒකේ ඒක මොනවාද ගොඩක් මොනවාද ශක්තිමත් නැත්නම් strong මේ plan එකකට අපිට පුළුවන් මේ කියන්නේ consistently follow කරන්න. හරි? ඒ හින්දා තමයි අපි එහෙම කරන්නේ. If you could share, yeah, I'll be sharing. It'll be in the FB at the same time. I will upload into the YouTube. Last week I couldn't do it. Some issue was there inside the FB, but I can't understand as to why there was that issue. But it will be anyway in the FB or otherwise. If it is okay, if it is possible, I'll be certainly keep it in the YouTube. Right. එතකොට දැන් මේ විදිහට අපි අඳ ගන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ MACD එක මේක ඉතාමත් වැදගත්. MACD එකේ cross එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ මේ breakouts වෙන්න. හරි? මේ MACD එකේ මේම MACD line එක signal line එක cross කරලා පල්ලෙහාට එනකොට සමහර වෙලාවට මේ ඒ reversal එක resistance levels වලට පල්ලෙහාෙන් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්, right? ඉතින් ඒ හින්දා අපි ඒකට අවධානය යොමු කරන්න ඕනේ. Okay, so මේක තමයි අද මට ඕනුනේ ඔයගොල්ලන් එක්ක බෙදා ගන්න. අර මම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේ candlestick එක සම්බන්ධව කිව්ව දේ, sorry, hammer එක ගැන සම්බන්ධව කිව්ව දේ පොඩ්ඩක් හිතේ තියාගන්න, පොඩ්ඩක් research කරලා බලන්න. මේ ඔක්කොම candlesticks. මේක candlestick එකක්, මේක dragonfly, sorry, gravestone කියන්නේ යටට ආපුවාම එන doji formation එකක් gravestone කියන්නේ. මේ තියෙනවා තව candles මේ hammer එකක්. හැබැයි මේවා මේ උඩදී form වෙන ඒවා. ඒතර ඒවා short, ඒ කියන්නේ duration එක short term කියන්න පුළුවන්. risk එක වැඩි මෙතන තියෙන සාපේක්ෂව මේ හරිය බැලුවොත් අපි 1100 ගණන් වල දී තමයි මේ formations එන්නේ. රුපියල් 18 උඩින්. මේ හරියේදී අපිට අපිට ඒ indications එනවා නම් ඒවායේ වාසිය වැඩි. ඉතින් opportunities market එකේ තියෙනවා මොකද prices පහත තියෙන නිසා. So we have to make use of them. Just as I mentioned, the sentiment is so negative when we go out, when we personally, when we are living, sentiments, the frustration, the difficulties, all are there. But don't worry about them. If you're interested in buying and selling in the market, you come to the charts, use your indicators, make use of the lessons that you are learning. May not only, in my presentations, make use of them. You will see opportunities. Right now, I just now showed you, you have, even in these very small, narrow ranges, there are opportunities, right? So if you have a solid approach, opportunities are here, because if you can improve your knowledge, put that into practice, the success rate will be beneficial to us, especially at times where we are going through the challenging times, where if we can make use of our knowledge to increase our earnings, or make use of these to earn some additional income, right? It will be very, very useful for us. Therefore, don't take these just for granted, right? Be very, very particular and serious about making use of charts, price action, for you to make money. With that, sorry, let's go to the FPI and see whether there are any requests. LIOC I explained, so okay. Right. So that's all I have for the day. Thank you very much for being with us, with me rather. I hope that things will be peaceful, and I hope and pray that all the issues that we have will be finished, even before time that we have been prepared to face these. So God bless everyone. Suba රාත්‍රියක් වේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. ආමසරයක් අපි එන සුමානේ හම්බෙමු. We'll meet up again next week. Till then, good night. Sorry, Indiki is asking about digital currency. Okay, let me just show you one of those stocks, the Bitcoin that I'm tracking. These are the long-term charts that I'm using. Give me a second.